So yeah, I'd say the last week and a half, I took a couple days off from YouTube. My time right now is kind of split up between consulting, other consulting, and YouTube. And so I took a couple days off to work on open source. What does that mean? Well, I have an open source project out there. It's the K3s Ansible playbook that I think a lot of people have been using. And I have some CI in place and some integration tests in place that used to work but no longer work because GitHub changed some stuff. So anyways, the last I don't know, over the last week and a half, I think I put about a good 60 hours into fixing this thing. But if you're not familiar, yeah, it's a playbook that spins up Kubernetes for you automatically. The challenge with that is that I need to actually write tests that do that same thing. So I have integration test on pull request that actually creates 4 or 5 virtual machines from scratch, and then runs the playbook and installs Kubernetes on them, and then tests Kubernetes to make sure it's all working, like your load balancers, your API endpoints, installs an Nginx service to make sure that it's working, and then even curls and queries Nginx through MetaLB to make sure that's working, and then tears all of those virtual machines down. And that happens on every pull request. So it's pretty important when people add features to be able to run these tests, because I'm not going to run these tests manually every time. I'm not going to spin up a brand new cluster. That's what I did in the beginning, and I said, no more of this. Well, anyways, that all broke. So I ended up creating self-hosted GitHub runners that are running in virtual machines on Proxmox here in my home lab, that every time someone opens a pull request, it will actually create, virtual machines within the virtual machines. I'm using nested virtualization, and it will test the playbook from there on out. So anyways, I was backlogged about 15 PRs, and each PR runs, now it runs about 6 different virtual machine scenarios. So now I'm all caught up. So anyways, yeah, I did take some time off YouTube to do that. I know that probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but it's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So anyways, real quick, dude, real quick, LD can't game. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Cybet, dude, 2 years, 24 months. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Prime sub, 2 years, 24 months. So anyways, that's been my last week and a half. Is I said I'm gonna get my CI running again for my playbooks and GitHub, and I ended up getting it, and it took way longer than I thought. Anyways, I got something coming. I've been editing all morning. I was editing yesterday, and I got something that I'm really excited to share for you. It should be here in a little bit. I'm hoping Monday. I'm gonna aim for Monday. We'll see. But it's something that I've had in my backlog for quite some time, and hopefully it'll help those out that are using. I'm going to tell you, it's about TrueNAS, and it's really about optimizations and really getting the best performance out of TrueNAS, and kind of demystifying, slogs, zills, write cache, read cache, all of that, and demystifying it for people to try to make it easy and sensible to get the most performance out of the TrueNAS server. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. Got a lot of diagrams, doing a lot of diagramming this time. Take some time, but I'll figure it out. Anyways, I usually don't spoil everything. Must be feeling good. It must be feeling good or different today. So anyways, like I said, throw something in chat. We'll talk about it. I'm going to start from the top, and we're going to work our way down. I totally spoiled my video. I think I've only done that twice ever. Yeah, something's going on. Something's different today. So let's see. Oh, what the hell? Test is coming through. Yeah, I was sending out a lot of tests. I'm not even going to go into how bad my audio setup is right now. Don't get me wrong. I have great equipment, but the integration on Mac OS is terrible, and the way that it works is terrible, and it shouldn't be, because I have pretty good equipment. So I have to do lots of manual tests. It wasn't this way in Windows. Windows it always worked. I could always count on it. Let's see. Hi, 5x5. Let's go. 25. Hi, Techno Tim. Damn, this is blurry again. Yeah, it is blurry in the beginning. It is. Need some more coffee. Happy Saturday. Boy, it's good to see you live. Thank you. More coffee. I hear you. Woohoo. Finally catching a live stream. All right, let's see. Never fear, Boris is here. How's it going, Boris? Let me actually scroll chat down over here. I have my many chats. Many chats that I have going on, just so I can see what's going on. It kind of distracts me, because now I can see what you guys are saying in real time. I'm like, oh, man. But I'll get caught up to there. So Boris, my wife asked me what I want for my birthday coming up, and I can't think of anything. Yeah, that's I don't know. I need ideas, y'all. That's tough. That's tough. I don't have any good ideas for this because usually I'm kind of the same way. I'm just like, nothing. Let's have dinner and whatever, maybe some cake. I'm not huge on birthdays. I don't know that I have anything. I'm trying to think of something that's like, almost like Christmas gift worthy, where it's just like, hey, it's something that you don't really need, but you want or might not even know about. And I got nothing. I got nothing right now. If it comes back to me, Boris, I'll let you know. Ooh, I should have something. Ooh, if it was about 2 weeks from now, I'd tell you exactly what to get, but we're not there yet. Hey, Just Kaiser Sose, let's see. Working on a makeshift alarm for my son who seems to be able to sleep through anything. Some kind of light and audio. Any ideas? Kaiser Sose, I'm the same way. My wife wakes me up and she told me she woke me up multiple times. I don't even remember it. I have lights and alarms that turn on every morning, and I turn them off in my sleep. I'm so used to it now. I don't even know that I turn them off. I have lights that automatically turn on every morning, and I'm the same way. This is tough. I hear that there are apps to help you wake up. And so for me, the what helps me wake up is one, either fear of being late. That's always a good one. Fear of being late for something. That'll get me up right away. Or two, it's trying to solve a mental problem. And so there are some apps in the App Store which will have you solve a math problem. But I've heard people have done the same thing to where they're getting so good at it now that they could solve the math problem. The alarm goes off and they don't even remember. So that one's tough. If you find out, let me know. Let me know. I'm at the point where I want to hook up like a mister or a bucket of water or a super soaker to just like spray me in the face. Because that's where I'm at. Because when I have no recollection of waking up until I'm totally awake. So, let's see. Kaiser Sose, cannon. Yeah, that'll help too. Air horns and cannons. I would just like a super soaker, like right in my forehead or something. Let's see. That quick math. Tim, I need to learn more about smart home and home assistant. Hey, what do you want to know? You have so many questions. That's your next one. What do you want to know? I mean, there's a lot there. You could spend a lot of time configuring Home Assistant until the end of time because it supports so many different things and there's so many different automations. I keep mine relatively simple. I only have a handful of automations. I have, timers for lights at night, timers for lights in the morning to turn them off. I have motion detections to turn lights on when you enter certain rooms or when you enter the garage, things like that. And so mine are pretty basic. I did just, however, I just hooked up Home Assistant to my electric meter. It's pretty awesome. My friend told me this. So I have Xcel Energy. A lot of people might, but if you have Xcel for electricity here in the US, it's highly likely you do. There's a way you can hook it up to Home Assistant to see all of your energy usage. And it is awesome. I just hooked it up. There's a small guide on Reddit, and it's basically like apply for a developer thing with Xcel, do this thing, add this little task to Home Assistant, put your key in there, and boom, you have all of your electricity and your energy use, which is pretty awesome. Because I'm like, yeah, that's where we use the dryer. Or, hey, that's where we use the sauna. It's pretty sweet. So, anyways, that's pretty I guess advanced stuff. So that quick math, I would say start with a simple light. The first thing I did in Home Assistant was just have a collection of lights, like this room. Turn them all on, turn them all off. There's a lot of lights in here, more than you would think. I think there's probably about, 15. And so instead of me just, going into each app and turning everything on and off, I would just do it in Home Assistant. Later, I got a little bit, a little more creative and put themes and light mode, dark mode, that type of thing. But I think just keep it as simple as you can. Anyways, going back to the Xcel piece, if you have Xcel Energy, you should totally configure Home Assistant for it, because then that energy page will actually light up and show you charts, how much energy you're using per day. It's so awesome. So yeah, a buddy at work showed me that. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I had it working in 10 minutes. 10 minutes is all it took. So But yeah, start simple. I'm here talking about whole home energy usage, but that's what's going to happen to you once you start using Home Assistant, getting some home automation and doing some real cool stuff. Not only are you making maybe your life a little bit easier or more difficult, depending on how you want to look at it. It's a little more complex. You're also getting a lot of rich data from all the stuff that you're doing, and you start to see like, hey, this is the same data that a lot of these companies are getting too. So, anyways, you should check it out. It is awesome. And if your energy company doesn't support that and have a smart meter, you should figure it out and tell them to get a smart meter because it's awesome. It's awesome. Yakto, holding down YWS out there. Add dual 40 gigabit NICs to my routers. Jeez. I don't even know that like blows my mind. Like I don't even know. I don't even know how you could push that much bandwidth. But that is awesome. I mean, I know how you could because, you know, you're CEO of YWS, but I don't know how I could. I mean, I don't have anything that could write or read that fast unless it was like 100% NVMEs or something like that. So anyways, that is awesome. You're always like you're always like in a league of your own in your garage. Let's see. I'm updating vMug licenses. All right. Yeah, yeah. VMware. Hopefully they're doing okay, and hopefully vMug survives. Probably a sore subject, but that is awesome. I should have got vMug when I had the chance, but yeah, look where we're at now. Nerpiest sold off all of my excess tech and now looking for a Proxmox machine and a set of mini PCs for a highly available cluster. That is awesome. That is awesome. I've been there. I've recycled and upcycled and downcycled and sold and traded tech a lot over the years. And I kind of went through the same exercise a little bit a little while ago. I thought I was going to end up selling these servers, but now I have a new purpose for them. But I did go to mini machines for my Proxmox servers, and they're working out great. So mini PCs for a cluster, you have so many options now. You have so many options now. You know, you got, you name them. Minis Forum, B-Link, you name it. There are so many options out there now, and they're all coming with, you know, decent laptop processors that do virtualization just fine. So you're in a good spot because cheap. They're relatively cheap, use relatively low power. They're compact and good performance out of them. Good performance. So sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. It's fun every now and then to just like refresh everything like you did, NerdPS. You got rid of everything and now you're going to rebuy everything, but a fresh look, a new perspective on what that's going to look like. So it looks pretty awesome. Roy Mayo Jr., what's up, Tim and Chad? How's it going? Kaiser Sose says, the thought did cross my mind. LOL. Nerpius, Minis Forum is your friend. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Minis Forum, B-Link, they're all good. They're all good. Even Intel NUCs, you know, they're good. If you can get your hands on, they're still awesome. IoT ME Labs. I'm currently in the planning stages for building a server for personal AI execution tasks like Olama, Home Assistant, Crew AI, and possibly Stable Diffusion. And I really wanted to get your opinion. Do you have a recommendation of a server and a GPU for under 1K that could accomplish those tasks? You know, that's tough. Let me minimize this one a little bit. So that's tough. You know, I don't have a recommendation off the top of my head. I think where you're going to want to put a lot of your money is on your GPU or GPUs, I should say. Because those type of tasks, AI tasks, especially for like OpenLlama, Olama, I assume that's like a Chat GPT. I think it is. I haven't looked in a while. Like a Chat GPT, self-hosted open source option. Those take a lot of GPU. A lot. Like, you know, where you think like, hey, I run Chat GPT, like, and it runs great. That might be different for you at home if you're trying to run it. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying like you need to temper your expectations because it's crazy to think about how much GPU and how much compute, I guess I should say compute, that, you know, like ChatGPT or any of these things are using out there because it does take a lot of processing. That being said, you know, I don't have a great option. I mean, I don't. I wish I could. I wish I had a recommendation. I should probably look into that. I don't know the best GPU right now for AI tasks. I don't. Like up until recently, you know, I did some ML tasks. I did some machine learning type tasks, and I already had a model too. So it was really like object recognition, right? Like pretty simple stuff. If you have a model, you feed it some video, it's going to say, hey, how close does this thing match to a model? And I ran that on my 1080, ran pretty good. I ran it on my 3090, ran even better. But now when we're talking about like true like AI type stuff, it might be a little more demanding for sure. I would have to say RTX something, I don't know if the 3000 series or 4000 series, if there's a big jump in what you're going to get really from the AI or ML piece of it. I would say, yeah, I don't even want to make a recommendation. I personally, I go with NVIDIA because I'm on green team, but I also, I like their encoder. I like their CUDA cores. I like the ML and AI stuff they have going for it. So NVIDIA has a lot of stuff going for it for me, not just a brand or gaming performance, but all those other technologies that are widely accepted and used in a lot of projects. So I usually go with NVIDIA. I in between 3,000 and 4,000, I don't know if there's going to be a huge bump for AI. Could be. I assume so. Then, what do you house that in? Another big goose egg. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, you could put that in an older PC case. I don't know if you have a rack mount server or not. I don't know if that's important to you. But I would say, put your money into the video card first if you want some decent performance out of those things, especially for AI stuff. And you might need multiple. Who knows? But for the most part, you should. For the home assistant stuff, you shouldn't. I don't know about, Ollama. I think that's the open source ChatGPT replacement. Stable Diffusion is going to take some time too, but that's an on-demand task, whereas the other ones are almost real time. The other tasks you're going to be running are almost real time, and I think that's where you're going to kind of notice, the performance or not. And the other tasks that look like are on demand. So I wish I had a better recommendation. Hopefully that helps you think about it. I would also see, I would see what other people are using. I do think you're going to be putting most of your money in the GPU space though too. Cause after that, I mean, RAM CPU is almost, RAM will be important for sure. But your CPU may not be as important, But if this is going to be a multitask thing and you want to get, some kind of transcoding out of it too, I guess you have a GPU there. You could use the encoder. But, if you're going to go desktop processor, then you got Intel and QuickSync to use that as well. So lots of choices. Lots of choices. Let's see. That is me. Hey, Tim, or should I say time? Yeah, Mr. Technician. Yeah, people do mix that up a lot. Time. They type time when they meet Tim. I had a buddy who called me Timestamp. Because my last name starts with an S, and for some reason he called me Timestamp for TS. So, anyways, Virtual Alex, how's it going? Rebuilding vSphere HomeLab and watching my newborn multitasking. Yeah. You need to show him how to. Well, one, congratulations on a newborn. That's pretty exciting. A new kid bringing in new responsibilities into the world, and I bet it a lot of fun. I bet a lot of fun. I bet a lot of sleepless nights too. But yeah, congratulations on that. Rebuilding your vSphere HomeLab, that sounds pretty awesome. Get them while they're young. Teach them the ways of HomeLabbing. That's a comment, a reply, something that without alarms and bounce around the room. Oh yeah, that is true. I forget where that goes. But I know what you're talking about. So one of those alarms that bounce around. Yeah, I might have to look into that for sure. Because I feel like I need that. Right, Jeff, how's it going? Mr. Technician, I'm continuing to work on my scraper project. All right, this is scraping Amtrak. It's so hard for me to remember Amtrak for some reason. Scraping project. Right now, I'm focused on getting Azure Functions set up, and I'm also planning on a trip to Chicago and need to finish coding assignment, and I'm planning my new rack as well. Mr. Technician, you got a lot going on for your scraping project. I think you're going to scrape Amtrak to get price data so you could do some comparison. Going to put them in Azure Functions. That sounds awesome because, it's going to be serverless. It's going to go out of Azure's data centers. Maybe it'll be less likely to be blocked. Because who's going to block Azure stuff or even AWS stuff? A lot of people don't, unless it's like a private IP. People have kind of figured that out, but whatever. Trip to Chicago. Hey, you could take the train to Chicago. I don't know where you're coming from, but you could kill two birds with one stone and work on it on the way to Chicago. So it's pretty awesome. Coding assignment too. New rack. You got a lot going on. For sure. Okay, let's see. Cybernight. I have a quandary. Using a cloud init image, thank you for that, for K3S nodes, It is a raw mounted disk, no LVM. Do I just expand the Proxmox disk in order to grow the dev SDA, or should I add a new LVM disk and migrate the partition to it? I think the way that I have the way I have mine set up is LVM. And the nice thing about using Cloud Init is that if that drive ever changes, and Cloud Init still, basically when that machine boots up, if it was bootstrapped with Cloud Init, it's going to try to expand that LVM every single time. It's just part of booting up. Like now they've added update on booting up. So I would go that route. I would go that route because I never think about it. Like prior to doing this with Cloud Init and using Cloud Init and having LVM, I would have to do that manually. You know, I'd use gparted. I'd expand the disk, go into gparted, expand it there. Then I'd run the commands to expand the LVM, and things would be great. But it took all that downtime and all that manual work. After switching to Cloud Init and using LVM there, it does it on every boot. So if you give it 20 extra gigs, you reboot the machine, boom, it's there for you to use. So I would go that route just because it's just less to have to do, less manual work. Who wants to do all that work? Ain't nobody got time for that. But that's what I would do. Take advantage of Cloud Init and use it. I think the way that they kind of want you to. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. There's a few times where I expand the disk and I'm thinking like, okay, now I got to run all these commands and do all this, and I'm like, oh no, Cloud Init already took care of it for me. I totally forget, and I'm prepared to do the work. So you're in the other boat where you want it to do the work for you. So, but it's only going to take you a little bit of work to get there for sure. Yeah, Minis Forum. Yeah, Minis Forum. Yeah, for sure. Those are two great machines. Opposite end of the spectrum, but two great machines. Let's see. Thinking of some kind of strobe is nice, or a loud purge style alarm. Yeah. Yes. I think the more, the better. And I think like if it's somewhere that your son can't turn it off easily, too, that helps. And not voice activated either, because I one of my thing is voice, and I totally tell Siri to disable, turn off the lights, and I don't even know it. Every day. That happens every day. Oh, let's see. I've also been looking into trying to make a standalone AI execution project with with a standalone AI execution for a project with a private local LLM with the size of a NUC, although about a Pi 5. I'm a little weary on performance. Yeah, I think when you start doing local stuff, performance is not going to be in your favor. If it's real-time stuff, like if it's real-time stuff, I mean it's going to be as good as the card or whatever, the thing you use to compute the data, right? And so that's a lot of crunching. So real-time stuff, it's going to be possibly slow. But if it's on-demand stuff, like, hey, I can let this process for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. And you'll know that going into it. Like for instance, when I render my videos, I go into rendering my video with the expectation it's going to take 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on the effects. That's what I signed up for when I started this project. And you might be there too if you're going to start doing LLM stuff and maybe not have, the best GPU or whatever processor, I guess I should say, to crunch that type of data. But if you know what you're signing up for, that's just what it is. I mean, it was the same thing when I did my object detection on, it was even a 2-minute clip. I was like 20 minutes. I was just like, my NVIDIA GPU it's using all of its CUDA cores, even tripping my UPS for a little bit. I know that's what I signed up for. So real-time stuff is tough. But batch stuff or on-demand stuff is that you can wait for. Yeah, you know what you're signing up for. Mr. Technician, and I got a full-time job offer as a software engineer from my internship employer for when my last class ends. Hey, that is awesome, man. So congratulations, getting a job offer from your internship from your current employer. Man, you that is awesome. You got the job, didn't need to apply, and you have an internship, and they're ready to hire you after you start working. That is awesome. You still negotiate. You still got to negotiate. I would negotiate. Yeah. There's still some things you can negotiate too. I don't know if you already signed this stuff, but I would have them start your tenure when you started your internship, you know, and say, hey, I've been putting in a year, 2 years in internship, start my tenure way back then, so that your investments, you know, if you're going to do 401k and all that stuff, start earlier. Yeah, I would negotiate some stuff. But anyways, not to start getting, you know, working some angles on how you can get more. That is awesome. Congratulations. That is awesome. Software engineer, it's a great line of work to be in. It's kind of a catch-all for writing software, debugging software, but really, you know, building and maintaining software projects. And it's fun. It's fun for sure. Especially if you get a good team. If you get a good team, you're at a good company, or you're working on a good product. Like if you get all three of those, that is just so awesome. So awesome for sure. Because a lot of software engineering isn't even debugging code. A lot of the times it's, you know, it's working with other people in the business, either product people or marketing people or whoever, IT people that are your customers that you're building this stuff for. So never forget that. It's not always just heads down coding. It's the difference, I think, between being a developer and an engineer, you know. So building solutions, you know, versus just like writing code all day. Although I got to do some heads down coding for a couple days this week, and it was awesome. Anyways, Kaiser So say that could work with something. White noise, something best. Oh yeah, deep sleepers. You guys are in this long thread. Hey, Wooden Dave. Hey, how's it going with the Spotify icon? How's it going? Good to see you. Happy Saturday, Modest Tim. Let's see. Is that Malik? Malik. Anyone here know if the new 8700G supports ECC RAM? I'm not sure. I honestly, I don't even know what the 8700G is. I need to get caught up on my things. I don't think I've ever seen Tim without a hat. I've been doing no hat for a little bit. Some people razz me about the hat, and then people razz me without the hat. I figured I'm letting my hair get a little crazy, kind of like Kramer, so I'm just doing no hat. I shaved my head for so many years that, like, now that I'm growing it out, I'm just letting it go. Just gonna let it go. It's kind of fun, you know. Sometimes bedhead all day. I don't even care, because you know what? A couple years ago, my head was bald, so I shaved it off. So just like, I don't know. It's pretty fun. Jungle Fly. I'm working on improving my Kubernetes skills. Good skill to hone in. When I kill pods and try to reattach to a PVC, I can't always get to reclaim the previous PVC. Any tips? So let's see. So when you kill a pod and try to reattach to the used PFC, the one it had before, I can't always get it to reclaim the previous PVC. That should happen. Because that deployment, right? So if you're doing Kubernetes stuff, you have a PVC or a persistent volume claim, right? That's a claim that defines the claim itself and what volume it's attached to. And then your deployment, which you defines your replica set, or how many pods are in that deployment, right? And other things about it. But one thing is also the PVC, the persistent volume claim. If that's not happening, I'm not sure. Something is wrong to where your deployment's just dynamically requesting PVCs each time it starts up, which can happen, and that might be a configuration option. I don't know what PVC provider you're using or storage provider you're using, but that is definitely an option. If you don't define your PVC each time the deployment starts up, if it can't reattach to the previous one, which you should be able to, it might create a new one. So some things to check. I would look at your deployment manifest and see how your storage class is defined. Make sure your PVC is defined. It's pointing to the PVC ID of the PVC you created. It's a lot of PVCs, and then that defines the volume. If it's a Helm install or something like that, like kind of all bets are off, because in your Helm deployment, you're going to have to define the same thing, whether it's static or dynamic PVC, right? And so if your storage is provisioned dynamically, or if it's static, right? If the PVC is already there. So things to check there if you're using Helm. So I didn't want to bring Helm into it because yeah, who knows how you're doing it. But that's another thing to check too. Helm charts sometimes will just say, hey, I'm gonna request anything. I don't know. There's a lot of something going on. Let's see. Whoa. Dude, these aren't even caught up. what's going on? Dude, Cyber Knight, gifting 5 tier 1 subs. That didn't appear over here, but dude, thank you so much, Cyber Knight. 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. So let's see. Blue Matrix, Zendi, Boxolone, Graffiti Knight, and Introverted Mouse. Enjoy your gifted sub from Cyber Knight. Dude, thank you so much, Cyber Knight. I appreciate it. Didn't even show up on my main thing. No, it didn't show up on my main thing, but it showed up on my other thing. So, hey, it doesn't matter. But, dude, thank you so much. I mean, it doesn't matter. I meant as far as, like, which system I'm looking at, because I see it here now. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. That quick math. I like it. That quick math. I do quick math, too. What can you tell me about Matter and smart home integrations with Home Assistant? Gee, whoa. This is grilling me. I like it. Matter, I think, so I'm just off the top of my head, I don't Google anything. So Matter is a protocol that devices can use to communicate to each other. New protocol, right? New protocol, so that you can create a mesh network through Matter. And so it's not like your traditional Wi-Fi where those devices connect to your Wi-Fi antenna, and individually, it's a protocol that they can communicate with each other, other Matter devices that support it. Not like Zigbee either. It's not radio where, you know, you have a hub and it communicates with it. Anyways, why is that important? Well, one, am I mixing up Matter and something else? I should Google it. Anyways, I hope I'm not mixing up Matter with the other thing. But anyways, Matter, they can communicate with each other. It's really cool because they can make a mesh network too, which is really awesome. Zigbee devices can do it too. But say your light switch up here can only communicate with a light switch, you know, in another room. You know, typical mesh stuff, right? If A can communicate with B and B can communicate with C, then that means A can communicate with C. So. But I mean, that's the extent I know. I honestly, a lot of my devices now have it. I don't know how it's being utilized in my own deployment. I think a lot of the smart home stuff is trying to figure out how it should be utilized too. Because I think, you know, Apple, Google, you know, any smart home device hub, I guess I should say, is trying to figure out how to use it too. But it's basically a way to connect devices a different way, different protocol. Some of my devices support it, but I'm still doing it, I guess, the old way. I guess. But it should be transparent to you. It should be transparent to you. Like, oh, I'm thinking Thread. Nah, see, this is where I messed it up. Thread. Yeah, now, okay. Thread is what I just explained. I just realized. All right, throwing it all out the window. I think the Matter is the new API standard. It's the new smart home standard that a lot of device makers and service providers are trying to adhere to so that your devices can work with any ecosystem. So what I just said about mesh networking, that was Thread. See how new these are? Matter is the new spec that I think that smart home providers, and there's like a gnat flying in my face. I'm gonna get it. It's a new standard that device makers and hub makers and providers can adopt and should adopt. But it's very early on. Like, there's nothing in the spec yet for like smart vacuums, right? So they're kind of, you know, a lot of big players are in it, you know, and a lot of them are going to decide what the standards are for these types of things to be able to communicate. So ignore everything I said about in the beginning about it, because that was actually Thread. So Cyber Knight, you can expand the disk image QEMU. Hey, there you go too. QEMU image resize, the amount of gigs or star G and 28 gigs. Oh yeah, plus. Oh, there's the plus. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've never had to use that command, but I will definitely keep that in mind. Can I create volume groups in volume groups in logical volumes with Ansible? I think you can. I've never tried to do it, but I think anything's possible with Ansible. Like if you can do it in the CLI or it has an API to do it, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes for sure. Let's see. So you were saying by opening up enough pull requests, we might be able to overload your cluster. Minister, hey, good call. I kind of skated around like, hey, like now other people's code is running in my environment. Because the first, it's like security through obscurity. No, not only that. No, not only, I'm not going to go out and advertise like, hey, this is running on my servers, but it is. I've taken some precautions. Like I've evaluated this for a long time. I had a backlog item that says run self-hosted runners, and I talked about some of the security implications and what it means. After I couldn't run CI anymore, I thought this is the only way I'm going to do it. So I have things in place. This is on its own VLAN. All of the devices are even isolated within that VLAN. They can't even communicate with other devices, and it only has internet out for those devices. And then on top of that, CI won't run on a PR until I approve it too. So, I have to do a code review and look at your code before I say yes, run on my own servers. But hey, if you find something you need to fix and you open a PR and I approve it, then yes, it'll run. It'll run on my servers in my environment in my home lab. With GitHub self-hosted runners. So I like the way you think, though. I like the way you think. You were trying to exploit it. That's what I've been doing, but wonder the migration. Oh, you guys are figuring this out. All right. Hey, everyone. Set up DizK TV, using it with Plex. I don't even know what the franchise. I don't even know what DizK TV is. DizK. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I don't know what it is. I'll have to check it out. It's sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out, franchise. Hope you're doing good. Good to see your name. Wow, that's a lot going on here, but I'm gonna read real fast to try to get to where you can see. Basically, I'm trying to build my own Amazon Echo that will run without internet, without skimping on functionality. I got a whole home audio to work, voice control of Home Assistant with multi-shot commands, and TTS voice using 11 labs, using a Pi Zero, 2W units, and an IKEA headlamp. Awesome. I have it connected to a ChatGPT for now, but I'm trying to migrate it to Olama or O11. I think that's Olama. But I'd really like to make an exclusive server for the LLM execution. Have it for working on temp server, but it's a lot of slow executions. Yeah, that is awesome. A buddy of mine just set up local voice and stuff too for Home Assistant. He's enjoying it. And so, yeah, it sounds interesting. And I think you're touching on exactly what I was saying, is that, like, real-time stuff is going to be rather slow, especially ChatGPT type stuff. Because if you think about it, it's not, because it's LLM, so it's using a large language model. And then on top of that, it's not predicting the whole answer, right? With these type of AI chatbots. It's like predicting the next word. and so you can see how much compute that could use. Like it's not, it's hard to describe, but it's not reading the whole question and then like spitting the whole answer back out you. It's predicting each next word it needs to say. So you can see how that could be super intensive on the device that you're trying to use. So yeah, that'd probably, I would, like you said, move it off any critical workload, right? Anytime you have a critical workload, like your Home Assistant and stuff, the minute you start to throw noisy neighbors in there, like this Olama, I'm going to keep saying Olama, but whatever, open source ChatGPT, that's a super noisy neighbor. Because every time it's going to be doing something, it's going to be using tons of resources. It's going to put everyone else on the back burner, and then you're going to get slow executions for all that stuff. So what do you do to a noisy neighbor? You move them out. You evict them, and you put them on their own machine so they're not taking up any resources. So I think you're on the right path. I have no gauge for what's good at home. Hopefully, that solution has at least tempered people's expectations to say, here's a good, better, best approach. The best is going to cost you $10,000, but the good option is only going to cost you $600 or $700. I don't know what the hardware recommendations are on those, but I would do a little research. I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I'm interested in the answer too, to where I'll probably Google after this too, because I don't know what kind of, every time I heard someone spinning up something like that at home, the first thing they say is like, yeah, it works great, but it's super slow. And that's pretty crazy. That's a testament to how much compute power that a lot of these clouds have that are generating this text for, you know, millions of people every day. It's insane to think about. So it sounds awesome. Sounds like you got a great private local home assistant along with some voice and chat as well. So sounds awesome. Let's see. Romeo Jr. Love the spoilers. Can't wait for the video to come out. Yeah, I totally did spoil it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, I'll talk about it. But I guess I have spoiled a couple times. But on obvious ones like, my end of the year, you know, type of HomeLab tour video. That one's kind of obvious. But this one I totally spoiled it. I hope you like it. It's going to be everything I learned about TrueNAS and how to optimize and tune your TrueNAS to really get the best performance out of it. From hard drives to disk layout to cache drive to slog to Xcel to network bonding to you name it, ARC, L2 ARC. It's all in there. So if you want to get the best performance out of your TrueNAS box, this will be the one video to watch. So awesome. Hey, Xavier D, how's it going, dude? I just thought about you yesterday. Kind of weird, but I figured you'd be on today and we're going to razz me about a couple of things. But anyways, procrastination. I keep putting off unsubbing. Oh, well. By the way, working on my 5U drawer with server faceplates. Going to be fire. Yeah, man. That is awesome. Dude, thank you. Thank you, Xavier D. I know you're trolling me on the unsubbing. But if you did, I totally get it. Times are tough right now. But dude, hope you're doing okay. Yeah, I was just saying I was thinking about you the other day because I thought you were gonna razz me, and I figure you're gonna razz me or at least give me some corrective criticisms here in a little bit as I talk about ZFS. Because man, Xavier D, he knows ZFS. That guy, he knows it. So, anyways, thanks for the continued support. 26 months, man. I appreciate it. Drawing diagrams sounded fine. All right, I am gonna diagram this because there's a lot of hand waving in this video. A lot of hand waving, and hand waving only gets me so far. You know, I can say A, B, C, but when it starts to talk about, you know, hey, you know, the Xcel on a pool and then using, you know, a slog device over here instead of, you know, using your Xcel and writing directly to ARC, you know, I only have so many hands to wave. So yeah, there will be some diagrams. I still got to figure that piece out though, but I think I'm gonna draw them. Janaweeb. Let's see. Found a nice WAF for Nginx and Kate's. Testing it out Saturday night. That is awesome. So WAF, a web application firewall for Nginx. Yeah, that sounds great. Let me know what it is. I'm curious to know. So that means you're putting your WAF inside of your cluster. I like where this is going. IoT Labs. Kaiser Associate, I taught my IoT and embedded students how to make an alarm that turns off when you get out of bed using pressure pad in the bed. And if you aren't up at a certain period of time, it can help shoot a water gun. Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. I need to be sprayed in the face with a hose. Seriously, I need to. That is awesome though. That is awesome. You taught your kids that too in your class because it's something probably really relevant to them too, right? They're like, yeah, I'm late to class because I can't wake up on time. How can I fix this? And so you give them a little bit of, you know, you wave a carrot in front of them and say, hey, here's how you can fix it by learning all this IoT stuff. I love it. Do you use Frigate by any chance? No, I don't. I have used it before in the past just as testing. I feel like I need to bring it back in just for a little bit for testing and just to keep it around because, you know, I used Blue Iris for a long time. And one of my complaints was, well, you know, it's Windows only. It's not in a container. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to like about Blue Iris. But then it's, you know, as I started going over to containers, I was like, I wish I had a container way of doing it. And there was very few to no options that would really satisfy what I wanted. I ended up going with Unified Protect. And then sure enough, Frigate comes out and comes super popular. So I think at some point I might revisit it. I don't run it. I should run it here. I did want to run it with a Coral TPU so I could use object detection, but I never got around to it. I still might spin it up for a fun project. For some other video stuff I need to do. But yeah, look for that. I haven't done it, but I'm a huge fan of it, not even though I don't use it, because yeah, a container model, Supports object detection. It's all local. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I need it. I'm currently working on my Frigate and camera systems. Oh, that is awesome. There you go. There you go. I totally agree. Like, if I could go back in time and know that something like that was coming, I probably would have pumped the brakes on my camera decisions, but that's where I'm at now. Bangkos. I've been slowly working on mine. Also awesome. The plan is to move Shelly, here we go. Bangkos, the plan is to move Shelly to a different spot, though, as the Wi-Fi coverage to the fuse board is terrible. Wait, what? The plan is to move the Shelly, I don't know what a Shelly is, to a different spot, though, as the Wi-Fi coverage to the fuse board is terrible. I don't know what a Shelly is. Let's see. IoTME Labs, Tim, have you tried utilizing Aqara FP2 for dynamic light control in one room? I haven't. I don't have any Aqara devices. I don't. I've considered it a few times. I might get them soon. My Wemo switches are dead. I've had them for about 8 years, and finally, the last couple of months, they started dying. Like, I turn them on, they don't turn on. One of them turns on about 30 seconds later. Kind of sounds like a fire hazard. And this one in here doesn't turn on or off at all. You can hit it, the light will turn green, nothing happens. So I need to replace that too. So maybe it's going to be Aqara. Maybe. I like what Aqara is doing. I like the price point, and it works with Home Assistant, and I think it works with HomeKit too. So no, I do have a Philips light sensor and a motion sensor and temperature sensor, like all in one, that can measure the light in a room and do dynamic light there. So I have done it with other things. Philips has one. My server room used to do that for me. I switched it, but it would adjust the color. So I had motion sensors set up. So when I walk in, it would turn on the lights, and then it would choose the light temperature based on the time of day, and also the amount of light. No, it was the amount of light, not the time of day. So if it was dark during the day because it's a cloudy day in the basement, yeah, they would turn on. But if it was bright enough there, they wouldn't turn on, or they would turn on just enough. So yeah, I've done it with my Philips too. Haven't done with the Aqara, but I got to check it out. For sure. I'm glad to know that they have some stuff too. Facts. LOL. Let's see. I'm a Pepsi guy. All right. I'm kind of a Pepsi guy too. I think I am, because I like Mountain Dew. I drink Diet. I don't even drink pop really anymore, but I like Diet Mountain Dew. I like Diet Pepsi. So yeah, I think I am too. So anyways, is the Xcel integration you use HasIO Xcel Itron? Yeah, MQTT. It is, but I ended up doing it the manual way. So someone has, I didn't explain this a lot. So that Xcel integration that gives you your power meters data into Home Assistant, one is awesome. I talked about it earlier. Your question is, hey, did I use this integration? No, I didn't use that integration, but that's the one you should use. The reason why I didn't use that integration, because I'm running it in Kubernetes, Docker. I'm running in a container, I guess I should say, and those integrations don't work with the containerized version. If you're using HasIO or using the OS version, absolutely that's the one. So then the person has, like, I think that created that or that referenced that has the manual way of doing it yourself too. And so that's what I did. But that is the one, and the device is Itron. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, Pepsi guy, you're on it. I know you're on it because you're like, I'm gonna ask. But yeah, it's so cool. Because then finally in Home Assistant, then your energy page actually says something. Like, I don't have solar, I don't have backup batteries, I don't have devices that report how much energy they're using. So that energy page for me has just always been blank. I'm just like, man, it would be cool if some stuff was here. But now that Xcel allows you to get to your smart meter and get your own data, because it is your data and how much power you're using, you can add it to Home Assistant. And then you can have it on an energy page. And then you could be like, whoa, this is how much energy I'm using all day. And you could start to see patterns. Like, I thought for a long time, I'm like, yeah, I use most of the energy during the day. It's the opposite. I use a lot of the energy at night, hence why I think daylight savings time kind of came around or something. But yeah, use more energy at night. I guess it kind of makes sense because I don't have all the lights on during the day. But I thought for sure, I'm working, I'm compiling code. It's gotta be during the day. No, it's actually I use more energy at night. So And that's during the wintertime. And the same will go for, I think, the summer too, because of air conditioning. Anyways, I'm interested to see when the air conditioner kicks on, what that chart's going to look like. So, but yeah, I'm a Pepsi guy. Check it out. It's so cool. A buddy of mine at work showed me it. I was just like, I had it working 10 minutes later. It's pretty easy to follow. I think there were a couple pieces in his guide where he kind of didn't explain fully, and it took me a few tries to get it. But if you have trouble with it, ping me in Discord. I'm happy to share my config for Home Assistant for getting your energy meter connected to it if you have Xcel. It's pretty easy. Any recommendations on the best way to run it? Is it a good idea to run Frigate on Home Assistant apps on top of TrueNAS Scale? Whoa. Let me break this one down. Is it a good idea to run Frigate and Home Assistant as apps on top of TrueNAS Scale? I think it is. For a long time, I've been kind of hard. I've been kind of hard on TrueNAS Scale apps, and I don't mean to be. And I shouldn't, right? It's an implementation detail, and I haven't been totally hard on it, but I was just, saying I already run Kubernetes. Why do I want to run Kubernetes again? But for most people, that's an implementation detail. Like, it doesn't matter what the engine is that's running your apps. As long as they run, they're great, and they work, and you get backups and clean upgrades. Like, who cares? So I've kind of changed my position on that where sure, run it there. I've changed it to the fact where I run my Plex there now. And my thought process behind it was, for a long time, I ran my Plex somewhere else, right? I ran my Plex on another machine, and then I ran my TrueNAS. And that seemed great because, like, hey, I have this server, it has a video card, then I have TrueNAS over here, separation concerns, it's all good. But then I realized after a certain period of time, a long time, I guess you say, a couple of years, like, why, if I can run Plex on my server that has the data, why not? Like, why have those two individual points of failure? I had a point of failure on the machine that was running Plex, and then a point of failure on my NAS. And so anytime the one machine rebooted or my NAS rebooted, Plex would be down. And so, there's some additional latency from, hey, I'm going to get my data from here, stream it back out from here. Minimal, right? But it is there. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. So if you're running that, I think for Frigate, it's probably a good idea too, because you're going to be accessing that recorded footage often, and it's recording. Like why put it anywhere else? I guess you should say, especially for Frigate. And that's how I kind of feel with Plex too, because not only do we watch a lot of stuff on there, I record TV. It's like recording TV all day long. And so I got to the point where I was like, why not there? And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Just moving my apps closer to that data makes a ton of sense. And then on top of that, I don't have to back up my Plex config or do anything different, right? I get those backups by doing snapshots in ZFS. So even the app's config is getting backed up just like that configuration, or just like my other data within TrueNAS. So that's the way I'm going now. I mean, do I have everything running there? No, I still run Kubernetes for all my stuff, but for Plex, it totally made sense. And for MinIO, I run that there. I could run that anywhere in my network. I could even run it inside of my Kubernetes cluster, but I decided, you know what? I MinIO object storage, I need it. Kind of need it outside of my Kubernetes cluster to back up data, object storage data, kind of like S3. I'm going to put that on TrueNAS because I don't want 2 points of failure, and it's data anyways that's going to live within TrueNAS. Why not put it on top of there? So, I'm pretty selective, but those are the two apps that I have going there now that I can hands down say, like, I wouldn't flinch. The only thing that kind of gets weird is like, okay, well now you got to port forward to your NAS, on whatever ports, if you're allowing it from the outside, for something like Plex or you name it, whatever you're gonna do. Now it's like it's the same machine that's actually hosting your data. So, but again, that was a decision I weighed many times, and I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot. I've tried it every way. I've run Plex on Linux, on Windows, on virtual machines, in Kubernetes, in Docker. I've done it every way possible. I figured, hey, why not try it on TrueNAS now and see how it goes? It's easy to move. It's easy to move if not. So yeah. But yeah, short answer, yes, I would do it there, especially for Frigate. Home Assistant, could kind of be anywhere you want, right? It could be anywhere you want. It could be on your NAS. I would say put those things that are critical like that on the most stable thing you have. And if your NAS is the most stable thing you have and it can run those apps, I don't see a reason to run it anywhere else, especially for Frigate, because like it's going to be streaming, you know, terabytes of data a day to that data store. Like, why not just put it on the machine and not stream that data over the network too? So, anyways, yeah, I've been thinking about this stuff a lot too. Let's see. My next project is LoRaWAN based sensors to try to get a data for weather and stuff like that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I have a few sensors and a few antennas I want to put up in the attic too. So yeah, stay tuned. Benkos, then I can get even more accurate outside temps. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You can get accurate outside temps. I have a buddy who has a manual thermostat like pinned to his tree outside his kitchen window. And I'm thinking, why does he have to? I'm like, oh yeah, you don't even need to look at your phone or anything. It's right there on the tree that's facing your window. I'm like, I love it. I love it. Let's see. Hey, Arwix. Hey, Tim, I'm spooling up TrueNAS Scale today to use as a backup destination. Curious if you have any input on file level backup solutions. I don't really need anything block level. I just want snapshots enabled for my PC storage, subdirectories, media library, etc. I wish I had a good suggestion for this. I know that a lot of people say Veeam. I haven't used it. And I don't have a great use case for file level backups. Why is that? Well, everything's on my NAS. First of all, everything that I can redirect is redirected to my NAS. That gets rid of needing file level backups on my machine. My Macs are backed up through whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. The backup system, and that's pointing at TrueNAS 2. Windows machine, that's again redirected to my NAS. So I don't have a ton of usage for file level backups. All of my virtual machines, I do block level or I back up those virtual machines. If I need to restore those, which would be rare, but I could. So is it the greatest option? No, but I could restore them and get the files off that way. But again, like a lot of my virtual machines aren't housing anything that's not recreatable. I guess I should put it that way. Besides some configs, and if I have configs, I just SCP those over to somewhere or do a backup copy job to back those up to get those to my NAS because I know that's where things are safe. So all that being said, I don't have a great recommendation. I know a lot of people recommend Veeam. I think there's a free version that you could use that'll get you enough licenses, I think, for your home. If not, I don't have a great option. I wish I did. Because people ask this a lot. There aren't a lot of great options for file level stuff. And I assume you're meaning self-hosted, right? Because if not, you could use Backblaze if you want to back up to the cloud or anything like that if you want to do file level. But I assume you're talking for multiple machines. Wish I had a better recommendation. I don't, because I don't think there are a lot of good options out there. Outside of, I think, Veeam. That's the one that gets recommended a lot. Oh, let's see. I realize that I'm like way over. I'm gonna grab one random one. Let me see. I'm gonna grab a random one. I want to see that's a question. Zigbee, hopefully about IoT Techno Tim. Oh, here we go. Well, this was a response. Shelly is a company producing stuff like smart switches, but also has stuff that integrates with your home installation in while your electrical comes. Okay, yeah, I was like, I have no idea what Shelly is, but good to know. That is good to know for sure. Here we go. This is the last one about questions. Jungle Fly, question about MinIO setups. How do you set up your certs? Double question mark. Yeah, good question. This can be cause of confusion when you set this up because I think when you set up, let me go back. If you're talking about doing it on TrueNAS, how do you set it up? I think you just choose the TrueNAS cert. If you change that, you're gonna be like in a world of hurt and you're gonna be like, this MinIO chart does not work. Like everything is broken and not working. And things will be, just nothing will work. So I would recommend when you set it up, just use the default cert on TrueNAS, like the self-signed one. If you're not gonna do that and you're hosting it outside, then I usually put a reverse proxy in front of it. I have a reverse proxy. I use traffic. You can use whatever you want. Nginx proxy manager. You can put whatever you want in front of it. Generate the self-signed one for MinIO, and then, or you could generate one and put it on MinIO. What I would do is just generate a new self-signed one for MinIO, put your reverse proxy in front of it, and then use it that way through your reverse proxy. The reason why that works is because it's HTTP traffic. Like when you go and get and fetch and put these files, it's actually over HTTP. It's not like, you know, a traditional. It's not like a different protocol. It's using HTTP, so you could use a reverse proxy. So yeah, that's what I do. It should be super simple. You just treat it like a website, right? Treat it like a website, because that's all it is. Like even when you store and get files, it's just HTTP traffic. That's the protocol, not necessarily secured or not. So the way to get it secured is put certificates. You could do that with a reverse proxy in front of it, or use the self-signed ones. I put a trusted one in front of it that I've generated. So yeah, Junglefly, that is it. Let's see. Dude, man, thank you guys so much for turning out. It was pretty awesome. I do apologize. A little bit late getting started. I will be back next Saturday, same time. Probably a little late again. You know, it's kind of par for the course. But I end up staying a lot later if I am late, like I did today. If you want to continue the conversation, if you have questions, if you put something in chat and I didn't get to it, I do apologize. There's a lot going on. Throw it in Discord. Let's talk about it in Discord. Discord is, it's a chat community. We have a lot of people here. Hey, dude, Chaotic 42 gifting 5 tier 1 subs on the way out. Dude, thank you so much. Chaotic 42, thank you. I appreciate it. So Nage Tech, Retho, Solitaire, Nut and Fancy, I like it. Nut and Fancy. Judgmental Monk. Enjoy your gifted sub. From Chaotic. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Romeo Jr., thank you so much. Wow, I forget. I was like on my outro. I was on my outro and I forget how my outro goes. It threw me off, but that's good. Keep me on my toes. But what I was saying, like, if I didn't get to your question, you want to chat with other people, you have a longer discussion, you want to share pictures about your home lab, or you just want to get some, networking expertise from somebody who's been doing it for years, join our Discord. We're almost at 10,000 members. It's a lot of great people who are very smart, very kind, very helpful, and somehow I got them all in my Discord, and I'm lucky to have them there. So, post it there. You should join. If you want to join, you could do !Discord. It's everywhere. Or search TechnoTim Discord. It is a partner community, so you could also go to discord.gg/TechnoTim. That'll get you there too. So totally, you should join. It's super fun. Dude, Romeo, yeah, thank you. Yeah, no problem at all. I forgot to even mention that. Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that. But yeah, I did recently hit 200,000 subscribers. I think I just hit it yesterday. Time's weird right now because I got so much going on. But yeah, I did. It's a big milestone. I've seen it coming for a while and I totally forgot about it. So, but yeah, huge milestone. I doubled my 100. Let's keep going. So it's super fun. Super fun. So yeah, my wife made me a little mini card and put it next to our dinner. And it was pretty awesome. I'll take a picture of it later. Anyways, join the Discord. You don't have to, but if you did, it would be awesome. Low ping, pretty awesome place to be. I will be back here next Saturday. I'll also have something too. I think I committed on Monday. We'll see if I can get that done. But I'll have something very soon on really unleashing the power of TrueNAS and kind of breaking down some of these super complicated terms like ZIL and slog and ZFS intent log and ARC and basically how to tune your TrueNAS system to get the best performance out of it. So anyways, that'll be out this week. And I'll be back here next weekend. I'll see you in Discord. Yeah, other than that, be good to each other. Take care, folks. Be good.